Today's lesson is going to focus on coordinate plane. Now, before we do that, I want you to take these set of notes specifically on coordinate plane. So I'm going to zoom in. You can pause the video so that you can write down the notes. But go ahead and write down these notes. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, now that you've written down those notes, I'm going to give you a few more so you have it all available to you while we discuss this. Great, now that you have the notes for this, let's focus on this page 10. We know that for the coordinate plane, it's this entire image. When we talk about an x-axis, we are talking about this horizontal line, right? It kind of gives us that inkling, let me make that darker, of where the middle of the coordinate plane is. So if you have a highlighter, it might be helpful for you to write that. And then we have the y-axis, just up and down. And you can absolutely go ahead and label y-axis and x-axis. And just like a number line, this is the positive side, negative side. And then up is positive, down is negative. We have things like the origin, which is the center. We know that's 0, 0. It's right where they cross, right there. That is the origin. We also have our quadrants. Now there's 4. One way to memorize this is it's a C. So if I draw a C, that means quadrant 1 starts here. And yes, we use Roman numerals. So quadrant II, quadrant III, and then quadrant 4 is a little weird. It's the 1 before 5, so it's IV. So what you might want to do is print out just a bunch of coordinate planes. You can find them online, or you can get them from your classroom, and then just start labeling it, right? We can get rid of the C because we don't need it, but you can use the C as a reference. So let's look at where A is. It's over here in quadrant 1. What I do know about quadrant 1 is that both numbers are going to be positive because this is going towards the positive. This is going towards positive. So everything in quadrant 1 is going to be a positive number, comma, a positive number. If you want to write that down in your notes, you can do that. But that's how you would read it. So we look at x first. So we start at the origin. We go over 1, 2, 3, 4. And you don't need those tick marks. I'm just showing you how I'm counting the boxes. So it's 4 to the right, and that's towards the positive. So that means I have a positive 4, comma, the y. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go up 1, 2, 3. That is where I land. So I went up positive 3. So I end up at 3. And we already mentioned that we are in quadrant 1. Try the rest of these with B, C, D, E, and F. Pause the video before you check your answers. Now, you might have run into some questions about point D and point F. Well, guess what? They're not in a quadrant. They're on an axis. So sometimes the location doesn't have to be in a quadrant. It can be on an axis. So today's lesson, you're going to focus on completing the rest of this page. You can use page 11 as a reference chart. And you're going to continue to see what you know about page 12 and 13. But it's the same concept over and over and over again, reading these. So go ahead and pause the video for the rest of the page. Now that you've done the bottom, check your answers. Did you get the ordered pair right? Did you get the quadrant right? Did you see that it was the correct location? And go from there. Go ahead and try page 12. And pause the video here before you see your answers. Okay, so page 12, you should have filled in these. Just different ways of identifying coordinate plane in a horizontal number, vertical number, line, just like we discussed before and wrote down notes on them. So see if you got those right and label the parts for your coordinate plane. Go ahead and finish the rest of this page and the next page. Pause the video. Now that you've completed page 12, here's the answers. If you're not ready for page 13, you can pause the video here. But if you need the answers for page 13, here is that. And you can follow the steps for graphing the points. very quickly if you didn't understand how to graph them. On page 13, we want to plot point A. So it says +3. So again, I start at the origin, I go to 1, 2, 3, and then it says -4 here. So I have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that is where I'm plotting the points again. I'm going to draw it here, 1, 2, 3, and it's a -4. So I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and plot my point there. So this is point A. I follow the instructions. I start at the origin. I moved 3 units up, and I moved 4 units down because a negative sign told me to do that. Go ahead and finish page 13 if you didn't, and pause the video here. And check your answers. Oops, my iPad's being wacky. And check your answers here.